Hello and assalamu alaikum. Today we're going to talk about the transformation process and about the intellectual capital. We've already talked about, we have a brief description about what operations management is and what are the functions of operations management. Now, one of the functions of operations management was to direct and control the transformation process so that it is efficient and effective and adds value. So we have to look at what transformation process is and how it can be directed and controlled. Transformation process is basically the conversion of inputs in a productive process into outputs in either manufacturing or service industries. So basically, it's transforming your inputs into your outputs. By inputs we mean the land, the labor, and capital, all the resources, including when we say capital, it also means intellectual capital. What is intellectual capital? We will talk about that in the next slide. All of this into in a production process so that you can have an output. You're basically converting your these inputs into outputs, whether your products, your services, whatever you're providing. Now, this leads to tangible and intangible services. Timber being transformed into furniture, that's just one of the simple examples you can give for conversion of input into output. In this case, timber is the input and furniture is your output. You can also have services like training, etc., having good employees and all those employees could have, then they are behaving well, all those employees could be your servicing like for hotel managers, etc. The basic aim of the transformation process is to add value. You have to add value. So the value addition part of operations management, that is done by transformation process. Value addition was also discussed in the first unit of business studies, first unit, first chapter about the business structure, the business introduction to business studies, etc. So look at that if you want to discuss or see about what value addition was. Basically, it was a difference between the between the selling price and the raw material. So how much value you have added to the product. That's what basically value addition was, or added value. So the basic aim of the transformation process is to add value so that you can raise your prices. So whatever price you have bought your raw materials for and what price you will sell it for, the basic difference, that's the added value, and how you can add that is done by transformation process. An efficient transformation process can lead to high profits. Why? If you have a greater number of, if you have an efficient transformation process, that means you'll use less inputs, as much less inputs as possible, and generate a higher amount, maximum output as possible. So using minimum inputs, you want to maximize your output. You want to maximize this ratio, minimum inputs to maximum output. That's the basic ratio that you want for an efficient transformation process. And if you have that, that means you are conserving your resources. You'll need your cost for raw materials will be low, and the selling price that you will charge will be high. The extent and amount of profit gained will depend on the effectiveness and efficiency of the transformation process, and hence it requires constant management attention. So how much profit could be made and the amount that was made, it all depends on the effectiveness and efficiency of this transformation process. So we'll discuss about effectiveness, efficiency in the next video. Okay. So moving on, we have intellectual capital. Intellectual capital. What is intellectual capital? Intellectual capital is the intangible capital of a business that includes human capital such as the expertise and skills of employees. The wisdom, ideas, creativity, expertise, or skills within a business. All of these can be classified. All of these are included in your intellectual capital. It also structural capital such as information systems and data systems. All these are also part of your intellectual capital, such as you're having some information. All these systems, like all of these are considered related to your information. Like these systems have some information about your previous products, or maybe some data systems about your sales or your competitors. All of these have some sort of intellectual thingy in it. Like, what should we say? Like, it's related to your intelligence, you can say. So it's all about the intellectual capital, something that is not visible or can be measurable, but it's something that's, as we said, that intangible. Something cannot be measured, but it has its own value, and its value is something that sometimes exceeds that of tangible capital, such as that finance or cash. Its value sometimes exceeds that as well, because in some situations like universities and all, this capital matters more, because it is the expertise, the skills, The wisdom, ideas, creativity. You can't measure someone's creativity, someone's expertise, someone's ideas, etc. All these are something that cannot be measured. So that's why they are intangible. Relational capital such as brands, networks, distribution channels, links with suppliers and consumers, all these are valuable for business, and all this relational capital as well as structural capital. Both of these capital are part of your intellectual capital. Why is intellectual capital important? It could give a competitive advantage, a unique selling point as well. What is unique selling points and what is your intangible and tangible attributes? You can look in the marketing chapter. You'll find data on that. It can also be defined as the differences between the book value of a company and its market value. So if you say what's the difference between the book value of a company, that is the tangible assets, and its market value. Like, okay, you have some tangible asset, but your market value exceeds of that. Why does it exceed? Because of your all this capital, intellectual capital that you have, your brand reputation, your ideas of your employees, your information systems. All of these play a vital role in your value. So it's the basically the difference between the book value, that is something that is measurable, and the market value, what the value of the business in terms of to the customers and to the government, to the suppliers, to lenders. What's the value of that business in these people's eye, in the value for stakeholders, you can say. It is regarded as a very important asset in an increasingly knowledge-based world. Like universities, software industry, research and development work, all these work require your intellectual capital. Your intellectual capital should be high. Wisdom, your ideas, because all these are some intellectual work, intelligence-based work. You need some intelligence. You need your own creativity. Will come up with some new softwares. You need to have some expertise, use skills to teach in universities. You need to have some expertise in skills for research and development as well. So that's why intellectual capital is a part of all these businesses, a vital part of all these businesses. It has the seeds of self-renewal, new discovery, and new invention. So you can discover your own talents. You can discover the talents of the business. You can discover something new, some new things. You can make some new inventions. All of that which benefits the business in the long run. Distinctive branding can be seen as the application of intellectual capital. So if you have a good intellectual capital, you have some very skilled employees, you have good structural capital, you have very well detailed, well informed systems, well informed data systems, you have some great brands, you have good distribution channels, you have a very good link with your suppliers. So all of this will contribute towards your branding, your image of your business. So that's all for today, and thanks for watching. Allah Hafiz.